honored to be in the presence of Dr. Gireesh Kumar J, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Law, Central University of Kerala. Sir has an impressive academic and professional background. He has conducted extensive research in the field of disability law and human rights, earning his PhD from the University of Kerala in 2012, with a focus on legal protection of mentally challenged people in India. Moreover, Sir has been a visiting professor at several esteemed universities. His vision of developing legal education as a powerful tool for social change and inclusive development is commendable. He has actively undertaken many social service endeavors through outreach programs of National Service Scheme cells and legal aid clinics. We're deeply honored to have Dr. Gireesh Kumar J with us today. I now invite Sir formally to welcome our guests and our dignitaries. Sir, please.
A very warm good morning to one and all. This is another important day in the life of a handful of academic institutions, like the Global Research Conference Forum, which has registered its presence in the academic arena of the country for more than 2 decades, along with the Kerala Law Academy Law College and Center for Advanced Legal Studies and Research, a pioneer in the field of legal education in the country, and the Central University of Kerala, which is established in the year 2009 among a dozen other central universities newly established in the country, with the intention of spreading quality higher education into the corners of the country. And many other academically interested institutions have joined hands together to make this event a reality. Our conference always aims at interlinking and connecting different disciplines as well as different individuals. We call it interdisciplinary international conference. So the importance of becoming interdisciplinary is growing as a challenge day by day in our society, because the people's lack of awareness about the relationship between disciplines result in isolation of ideas. Isolation of ideas further results in isolation or exclusion of individuals. How can idea be shared across disciplines? How can culture, values and principles can transcend boundaries? These are very much important questions when we gather here for an academic exercise. Dr. Dakshina has rightly reminded us of the importance of the event, which is aiming at the protection or empowerment of marginalized sections of the society. So we are exposed to another important question: how can be a handful of academically or socially or politically or culturally liberated individuals sitting in an air-conditioned hall can empower the marginalized sections of the society. So we go to the expression marginalized. When we take a piece of paper, we write on the right side of the paper and put a margin on the left side, and something on the other side of the margin we ignore, because the right side of the margin is always important. That way, the society also had a process, a historical process of putting margins. And the societal elites, or the privileged we call them, are always placed in the right side of the margin, and the downtrodden, the deprived, the underprivileged people from across the sections, differing from culture to culture, society to society, nation to nation, marginalization has its own different facets. Somewhere it is differences on the basis of color, racial discrimination. Somewhere it is the discrimination on the basis of ethnicity. Somewhere it is on the basis of the place of birth. Somewhere it is rampantly on the basis of the economic disparity, political opinion, what not. Everywhere we face discrimination, oppression and deprivation. So we the people who sit here to discuss on the topic of empowering or protecting the marginalized sections are not isolated individuals. That is the way I'm trying to explain. We go to trickle down our ideas and perspectives for the ultimate help of the people, of the person in the street. We are vested with the bigger duty, everybody, not the people who sit inside, those who had received an educational empowerment or a kind of enlightenment we call through the process of education. We all have the duty, the paramount duty cast upon us to contribute back to the society. We call in economics it is trickle down theory. So the knowledge, the scholarship, the strength of ideas and the power to move forward, which we believe to be within all of us, to be trickled down to the ground and ultimately benefiting the man in the street. It's not a simple task. So I always ask my students, what is the meaning of education? Or why do you come for educating yourself? So Albert Einstein has rightly remarked about teaching that he doesn't teach. He simply facilitates the surroundings in which his students can learn. The same way Winston Churchill has rightly remarked that I want to learn but I don't like to be taught. So another important opinion about education is something remains in you. What is education? Education is something remains in you. After all you have studied from schools and colleges are taken away from you. It's a kind of abstract entity, abstract something we feel like Atma or soul. So through our food and other refreshment we feed our body, and through education we feed our soul. If there is something called soul in existence within us. So the quality and power of that educating process of the soul should be definitely reflected in our actions, in our words, in our expression of ideas, in our approach to different life situations, and in our manner in which we deal with our fellow people around. So once we go out of this hall, we are very much casted with the duty to contribute to the society what we have earned. Unfortunately, our society is moving, and these days very much vehemently moving through a kind of self-centered, or a kind of utilitarian, or a kind of euphoric attitude. So every child who is entering the school should be simply told that you are not coming to the school or classroom to learn for yourself only. And you are not learning from within the classroom only, but there is a bundle of knowledge which is outside the classroom and beyond the four walls of education institutions. This morning we have different handful of esteemed guest dignitaries, not only from academic background, professional, business, technological, scientific, political, etc., etc. And And my duty is to extend the welcoming on the part of the organizers to all of them. I don't go for a detailed speech. I wanted simply one idea of mine, or one thought came to my mind to be shared with all of you, that the interdisciplinary nature of academic discourses shall be continued. And especially we are having the new education policy recently announced by the Government of India, which focuses on the importance of interdisciplinary. We should know not only our domain subject, we should have a clear idea about how do we come here, why do we stand here, for what we are coming here. So knowledge of philosophy, knowledge of history, knowledge of sociology, knowledge of political science, economics, knowledge of science, there are issues. We don't know how do we come here. Because we often ask, why should a cardiac surgeon learn history? Why should a space scientist learn philosophy? Or whatever kind of sociological or political idea is necessarily to be there in a man who is called a technocrat. So this is very important, that everyone should be having a clear idea about the society in which he or she is. Lenin, the communist leader of Russia, had once remarked, if you don't interfere in politics, politics will eventually interfere in your life. Very important statement. Many of us have the feeling that politics is not our cup of tea. We are not political. And somebody claims to be impartial. And being impartial often results in silence and inaction, where you are supposed to be acting and reacting, or protecting and dissenting. So one should be knowing the historical process through which the society has reached this point. One should be, when discussing about liberty, equality, freedom, I had been going through the paper of my student in the morning. India's tryst with the destiny. How did India consider the ideals of liberty and equality, or freedom, or fairness? That's important because of the historical experience of the country, which had been oppressed, exploited, and enslaved for centuries together. Madam Samantha will forgive me if I mention the colonial era, which had taught the nation, man from Staffordshire University, UK. The Britishers have what have been done by the British to India in the past, and what had been done by Indians to the India before and after that, and what is being done by Indians to India these days. These are very important things which are to be shared, what I feel. So learning is not to be silent. Learning is not to be inactive. Learning is not to be blind. When you have a duty to speak, silence is an offense. I am reminded of Justice B.R. Kishore. So moving to my duty, firstly I welcome Dr. Dakshina Saraswati, who had brilliantly summarized the intention behind organizing this event. Madam is a teacher in the Kerala Law Academy Law College, managing both Law Academy as well as the CALSA, which is a very much pioneering institution in the field of legal research. So I have got acquainted with the Dakshina Saraswati ma'am quite years before. I have seen an ardent academic, enthusiastic and sincere in Dr. Dakshina. On behalf of all of us gathered here, the organizers, the guests, as well as the participants, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Dakshina Saraswati. Then Professor Dr. N. Gireesh Kumar, a very old friend of mine, about whom I cannot express formal words because we never speak formally, had been the principal of Government Law College Trivandrum as well as Calicut, and had been having the career of teaching for more than 2 decades. And recently, it is a matter of great happiness that Dr. N. Gireesh Kumar sir has been appointed as the Secretary, Kerala Legislative Assembly, the supreme law-making body of the state. Congrats, sir. So, on behalf of the Global Research Conference Forum, the institutions like CALSA, Central University of Kerala, Kerala Law Academy Law College, University of Kerala Center for Translation Studies, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Gireesh Kumar. Our chief guest, Sri V. Shivanguti, the Minister for Education, has promised to reach here. So, with the expectation that we will be here, I extend a warm welcome to Sri V. Shivanguti, the Minister for Education. And our most important guest today is none other than Professor Dr. Samantha Spence. Please mind that the Britishers are now very much friendly with us. Please don't take it as a racial comment. Madam is an Indian. She is having more Indian traits when we go closer. And some students of mine had once commented that she is now part of the Central University of Kerala. They feel that she is also a teacher or a student in our university. So Madam had been here in the last year for many events like international conferences organized by the Central University of Kerala, Kerala Law Academy Law College, and the farewell seminar we have conducted for bidding farewell to our great law professor, Professor Dr. K.C. Sunny, and mainly working in the field of international human rights as Director of International Human Rights and PG Legal Education in the Staffordshire University. She is not confining herself to the 4 walls of the classroom as we have already mentioned. She always wants to work in the street, work with the students, work with the laymen, and work with the like-minded people for producing results. We are having many plans in the anvil, like working for the marginalized sections of the society, especially the tribal population of Wayanad, Attapadi, Tribhuvan in Kerala, focusing on the educational empowerment. And her main area of work is something connected to human rights, that promotion of scientific temper. We all have idea about scientific temper, like our constitution mentions it, but many of us don't mind. Now Dr. Rabia, ma'am, is here. Oh, sorry. She had an issue with her flight yesterday. We were not sure that we will be having Dr. Rabia, ma'am. She is on an academic visit. She is from Spain. Dean, the faculty of Law, Dean University, Spain. She is on an academic visit to our Cochin University of Science and Technology. When we got acquainted, I have simply mentioned about this event happening in Trivandrum. If you don't mind, please be part of this. She has agreed to it and taken the pain to reschedule her flight from Delhi to Trivandrum, from the earlier flight of Delhi to Cochin. And she is among us. And we are very much eager to listen to Dr. Rabia ma'am about her views on her own area of study, which is to be shared in this event. On behalf of all of us, our academicians, students, participants, everyone, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Rabia. Professor Anil Kumar K, Director Administration, Students and Faculty Affairs, the Kerala Law Academy Law College. We all know that Kerala Law Academy Law College is a leading institution in the field of legal education, especially pioneering in the more kind of activities of the students. Even Academy is having a heritage of having sent their students to different countries, like very much important and international moot court competitions. and bagging several prizes. And leading an institution like Law Academy, Law College, Trivandrum is not an easy task. The students as well as the outsiders of Law Academy knows that very well. So, sir had been so kind enough to collaborate with the government, this GRCF as well as the other institutions involved in this event. We had conducted many events in the Kerala Law Academy also. This time, sir is here to grace this occasion with his presence. I welcome Professor Anil Kumar on behalf of all of us. Then Dr. Gireesh Kumar J, another illustrious individual about whom I cannot give any introduction because he is just like my childhood friend. Dr. Gireesh Kumar J is currently the Director of Translation Studies, Department of German, and he is an Assistant Professor of German Department, having worked in the Vellore Institute of Technology, German Department for more than 10 years. And he is a student, he was a student of Kerala University itself. We cherish a relationship which is almost 25 years old. And this time we have collaborated with Kerala University as well for the event. We have this soothing venue and the credentials of the age-old University of Kerala, which is the alma mater of many of us, including me. So I become so grateful to the consideration shown by Professor Dr. Gireesh Kumar to all of us and to this event. On behalf of all of us, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Gireesh Kumar. Now, Dr. Gireesh Kumar R.S., Head of the Department of Russian. So we really become interdisciplinary, or we are transcending disciplines, languages, everything. Department of Russian, and Krishna sir also is a very much openly talking person, devoid of all the kind of external limitations of being in the hem of a very much great academic institution. He always speaks to us like a old friend, and he is also here to grace this occasion with his presence. Dr. Gireesh Kumar R.S., Head of the Department of Russian. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Gireesh Kumar. Professor Dr. Sudesh Kodarao. He is from NSC Science College, Nasik, Maharashtra. Recently, he had been to our Kerala Central University also for the international conference recently organized. He also is very much interested in the work of spreading scientific chamber and promoting free thinking among not only the academic community as well as in the people in the street. So this event also, when we have invited him, he has kindly consented to be here, and he is also becoming part of all of us for this event. On behalf of the GRCF, KELSA, Law Academy, and Central University of Kerala, then Kerala University for Translation Studies, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Sudesh Kodarao. Dr. Bhavana Rao is the Associate Professor of University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun. He is part of this Global Research Conference Forum for quite long, having participated and presented papers in different important international events, and having stood by whatever endeavors undertaken by the organization for quite long. And a personal matter of happiness is Dr. B. Bhavana Rao has been my student in the University of Delhi. So I am very much privileged to welcome Dr. B. Bhavana Rao. She is not personally here, I think. She will be joining us online. Welcoming Dr. Bhavana Rao to this event. Then Dr. Anis, Assistant Professor and Head Department of German, University of Kerala. So whenever we have one person in one institution, we just catch hold of all other people were there. We visited the German department for different purposes. Dr. Anis also is always expressing the cordiality and togetherness. Whatever we entertain, Dr. Anis also is there to help us, to work with us, to produce the result. So this event also, Dr. Anis also is here to express his views on the interdisciplinary nature of the educational process, as well as the duty of our society to empower or to work for the empowerment of the marginalized sections of the society. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Anis to this event. Then last but very important, Professor Dr. Prakash Divagaran sir, another great friend of mine who is behind all these events. He is a silent killer, one can say. When Steve O had been batting for Australia, the cricket lovers called him silent killer. He don't make any noise, but he will ensure that the team wins from difficult situations. That way, Professor Dr. Prakash Divagaran doesn't make any noise. He will be silently walking here and there. You may be seeing him going in the corner of the hall sometimes, but he is managing all this. And he is managing the hearts also, all of us. So, from the bottom of my heart, I express my sincere love and I extend a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Prakash Divagaran, who is the person behind all these events, the leader of Global Research Conference Forum, which is based in Pune, but which is transcending nationalities and all this in academics. Welcome. So formally my task is about to be over. Now there are a kind of dignitaries, a bunch of dignitaries who are about to join us. We will be welcoming them very much gradually in due course. And before leaving the dais, I once again request all of us gathered here to be reminded of the importance of contributing back to the society. We always remind our students that your duty to educate yourself is not the simple duty cast upon you only. It is the kind of, there is another side for this, that there is a larger society expecting something which is very much concrete on your side. So be humanistic, be true to yourself, be dedicated, and be always open to change. Please learn and unlearn. Whatever we have learned wrongly should be removed, and we should be very much dynamic in our learning process. We should be ready to accept dissent and protest, as well as criticism, which are the basic pillars of our democratic society. Thank you once again, welcoming all of you, the students, the presenters, the comparing team, vibrant team of Law Academy, Law College, and all who have gathered here. I extend a warm welcome on behalf of GRCF and all the dignified organizations here. Thank you.